This is why I single out Black Americans only. Here are a few stories that have been left out of history books. Jack Holly, Slocum, Texas. Meet Jack Holly, a prosperous black landowner in Slocum. He owned a general store, a granary, a dairy, part of a bank, and several hundred acres of prime land in Slocum. The family worked the land and businesses their father had produced from his land. Mr. Holly and his family were an American success story until the night of the Slocum, Texas, massacre in July 1910. After that, white mobs abandoned businesses and properties. Eli Henson, Lincoln County, Mississippi. White supremacists, angered by black prosperity, often use violence. In November 1903, when white supremacists shot up his home, Mr. Henson came back at them with gunfire. They would retreat, but a month later, the black farmer was shot in the head. His horse delivered his wife to his body, Mrs. Hannah. After white supremacists foreclosed on their 74-acre farm, she and their 11 children were forced off. Today, the land is in excess by the millions. Reverend Isaac Simmons, Amite County, Mississippi. During the 1940s, Reverend Simmons owned more than 270 acres of land. He worked his land with his children and grandchildren, producing crops and selling the property's lumber. In 1944, white supremacists lynched Simmons so they could steal his land. Holmes County, Mississippi. During the 1950s and 1960s, white supremacist Norman Weathersby required black farmers to put up their land as collateral and pay high interest rates when they took out loans for equipment. Loans with high interest on purpose. When black farmers missed payments, Weathersby took their land. He died, leaving more than 700 acres to his family, according to estate papers and court records retrieved. The majority of the force came from black farmers. No black freedmen history. This is why I single out Black Americans. Here are a few stories that have been left out of the history books. Anthony Crawford. Mr. Crawford owned a 427-acre cotton farm in South Carolina and supported himself by selling the cotton, melons, syrup, and more produced by his land. Mr. Crawford's wife and 13 children all lived on his land with their spouses. He also built a school for black people. Mr. Crawford was lynched for cursing at white supremacists on his land, and his family was ordered to leave their 427-acre farm. Ocoee, Florida. In Ocoee, there was a time when black freedmen owned a total of 330 acres plus 48 city lots. Black ownership and a refusal to follow white rules led to a violent Election Day attack on the black community in 1920. The land lost by black families, not including buildings, has been accessed by millions. Vero Beach, Florida. The Epsy family lost their generational wealth in 1942 when the U.S. government seized their land through eminent domain to build an airfield. The Epsys lost 147 acres of land, including a 30-acre fruit grove, 2 houses, and 40 lots. The land would be acquired by the Navy, the city of Vero Beach, and the LA Dodgers team, all while ignoring the family's plea to buy back their taken land. The last official owners of the land sold the property for $10 million in the 2000s. Jasper County, Mississippi. When black people prospered with their land, white supremacists deliberately torched the courthouse containing black property records and deeds. The Masonite Corporation was eventually granted a title to 9,500 acres of land, which has yielded millions of dollars in wood, timber, gas, and at least 850,000 barrels of oil have been pumped from the land. Remember stories like these the next time a white supremacist or a person who came here after slavery to capitalize off of the American dream tells us to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps or that there's equal opportunity for everyone. There was never any such thing for us, but black Americans always found a way. Just because stories like these aren't in history books doesn't mean these things didn't exist or happened. Black American freedmen stand up.
They came before Columbus. They've been trading with the Aztecs. This is a secret history of the black race that the Europeans were trying to keep from you. And it's not just black people who are being erased from history. It's actually the European characters who were black who are being reworked. For example, Julius Caesar was also black. Did you know? The kings of England were all black until, photography came around. And Christopher Columbus himself was black. So, and as you can see here, the white homeland is in fact, the very North European section up here. So, I mean, that makes me question the veracity of the kings of England being black, actually, I've got to say. But everyone was black up until the white Europeans took over the world and made everyone white, historically.
There were 1,098 blacks living there in 1912. Within a matter of months, it had dropped to 30. It's the largest racial cleansing in America that I know of. It's also interesting because of this whole land question. I went through every parcel of black-owned land to see, indeed, what did happen. What you see is a sale from somebody to a black landowner. You don't see the next deed. There's no sale from Joe Smith, the black landowner, to John Doe, who is white. As you go back down the chain of title, you run into a hearing for adverse possession.
Adverse possession is the way that people have of taking title to property without buying it. And it's of great relevance in these banishment cases because as soon as the African American owners are off the property, some white folks or other folks come on and start using it as though it's theirs, and then after a period of time, it is theirs.
And get in here, get in here, get in here. We gotta talk, y'all. They trying to ban this page. So today, I'm about to hit y'all with some heavy knowledge that nobody ain't finna tell you because they trying to take my page. But there's a story behind these pyramids and Dr. Martin Luther King that you must know, and you're not gonna like it. But if you like it, please donate. But get in here. See, a lot of people don't know nothing about Alberta King and why she got assassinated. And guess who assassinated her? If you go towards the top and read, she was killed in a church by a what? What name does that say? What name does that say? And the reason why she got assassinated by these peoples above my head, because if you read Dr. Martin Luther King's Civil Rights Law, Public 9284, Dr. King was the tribe chief. And as you can see, Indian Civil Rights Act, he was a tribe chief over the pyramids in North America, or what we call Egypt. So when he died, his mama was next in line for the throne. Oh no, it gets deeper. Oh no, it gets deeper. Now, as you can see, the Indian Civil Rights Act, and you see Rap Brown, they arrested him. And I'm gonna tell you why they arrested him. Now, this is Rap Brown right here. But he was trying to get the rights to the Indian Peace Treaty to get the FBI to honor the peace treaty. What peace treaty you think I may add? As you can read right here, Rap Brown, he went to occupy Wounded Knee. And everybody know what Wounded Knee is. Okay, you understand what Wounded Knee is, right? And if you don't understand what Wounded Knee is, it's the massacre of us indigenous peoples right here at, not the Lakota peoples, no, us. So they had to assassinate her and basically the whole family. You feel what I'm saying? So now you understand what's behind this law and actually what it's really about. It gets deeper than that, but it's just a little synopsis of what nobody not trying to tell you.
Hey yo, let's get right to it. See this book right here? It's the Universal Declaration of Human Rights by Eleanor Roosevelt. This is recognized in the UN. Now I'm gonna show you some shit. I'm tired of my people trying to always gotta explain to these Native Americans or anybody else or even these Pan-Africans who the fuck we are. Let's do some math here. Alright, you see right here under the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it says Article 15. Everyone has a right to a nationality. No one shall be arbitrarily deprived of his nationality nor denied the right to change his nationality. Y'all seen that, right? Nationality is the key. The definition of a nationality is the status of belonging to a nation, whether by birth or naturalization, right? Y'all want to be African Americans, right? peep. Black or African American. The category black or African American includes all individuals who identify, just identify with one or more nationalities or ethnic groups originating in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Identify. Not saying you're from. Identify. Let you know, like the trans community identify as a female, but we really know they're not no fucking female. You get it? Now, I'm gonna tell you how black and African American is not a nationality. A white person. A person having origins of any of the original peoples. That word original is very key. Of Europe, in the Middle East, and North Africa. You get it? Middle Eastern and North Africans can claim to be white. That is a key component right there. Then you got black or African American, a person having origins of any of the black racial groups of Africa. And don't say nothing about original people or nothing. Nothing about original people. Then it says American Indian, which I fall under and a lot of Niji fall under. It says American Indian or Alaskan Native, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintain tribal affiliation and community attachment. So when you detach yourself, those are nationalities. Black and African American is not a nationality. So stop arguing with people about being a nationality that does not exist. Y'all stay dangerous.
Yeah, today, Hampton University, we're going to expose how you stole land from the black peoples. As you can see close up at this picture where it says the American Indians at Hampton University. Hampton University was built on Native American land, as you can see, as these peoples. And here goes Egyptian was teaching about the pyramids in Hampton. As you can look that up, it's pyramids, yes, in Hampton. And as you can see right here with this pic, as you can see where it says the indigenous culture. Indigenous culture. Now let's look at this picture blown up. You see above my head where it says indigenous, not Native American. Here go the picture blown up. Here go the picture blown up, but as you can see at the bottom it say indigenous. So these are the indigenous tribes. And as you can see, it's not that many Native Americans.
Watch
and I want
till
you to
the
also
end.
recognize why you're not going to find information like this in your school books. Why? Because it will liberate you. Because it puts everything back into context. And it starts to show you who's who. George Washington, and for those scholars who would dispute it, there's your reference from documents of American history. So don't think the scholars don't know this stuff. They just ain't talking. Letter from George Washington to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of Morocco, city of New York, December the 1st, 1789. And he's wearing his Masonic garb, standing on the floor of a Sar set. Those black and white tiles represent a Sar and a Set, the upper world, the lower world. Are we clear? All right. And the G stands for geometry. And these, that compass in the square is referred to in the Bible as the carpenter's tools. And Jesus was a carpenter. You understand? Good. All right. All right. Now, anyway. Great and magnanimous friend, since the date of the letter which the late Congress, by their president, first sentence let you know that he wasn't the first president, you see? From his own letter. So you see why information like this is dangerous to be exposed to the common people who have been miseducated, who think Georgie was the first president when he was the 9th? Because if they gave you the other history, it begins to tie you back. And the leader guys don't want you to have that information because they can't play the black game and start marching and praying. And they're asking you for $5. Oh, make it 10, Jesus is half. You know, that kind of stuff. Anyway, so I want you to pay attention to this, but when we get into it, I want you to look what is obvious to you, and so that we can get down to some of the politics. And don't forget your question, brother. I ain't forget you. All right? Since the date of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed your imperial majesty, the United States of America have thought proper to change their government and institute a new one agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor herewith to enclose a copy. So you can understand the Constitution didn't come from them, did it? It was adopted by them. Now you understand what Obama was saying when he tell you that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law? I'm going to go on to Article 11 of the Treaty of Tripoli from the Treaty of Peace and Friendship that Obama read to the world and show you what he was reading and show you how it went over people's heads. And he's telling you. The time necessarily employed in the arduous task and the disarrangements occasioned by so great though peaceable a revolution will apologize and account for your majesties not having received those regularly advised marks of attention from the United States which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct toward them afforded reason to expect. The United States having unanimously appointed me to supreme executive authority in this nation, you see he was appointed. Now later on you're going to find out why. Your Majesty's letter of August 17, 1788, so this is 2 years before he was appointed. He's talking about correspondences that were going on. How come you ain't getting this in school? Because they don't want you to know that you're standing on Morocco, that the land is Morocco, the occupational government is the United States, distinguished from the land. It's a foreign religious corporation belonging to the Jesuits. You're under occupation. And you're referred to as the Great Masonic Secret. And Mason means mother and son. Aset and Horus, or what they call Isis and Horus, or like they say in the church, Jesus and Mary, mother and son, and the study of Masonry. Masonry, that's what Masonry is. It's more science.
You thought that hockey, that the puck was the only thing black in hockey. But guess what I got for you? Show us Colored Hockey League, please. We need to show this.
It says here the Colored Hockey League was hockey's first organized league in 1895.
1895, black African Canadians created hockey. Show the photos, images. There's a book called Black Ice that this white dude wrote.
Yeah.
And it's the history that they hid in Canada. Black history. Black hockey players in the 1800s.
Crazy.
And they never said shit. And it was in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia. Now, Nova Scotia, after the war, they had Africaville. Canadians created an Africaville. They don't have it anymore. They got rid of, they pushed Africans out because, a lot of people come out of Nova Scotia. Now, the first black hockey player that went to the NHL, to the Boston Bruins, was from Nova Scotia. His name was Willie O'Ree.
Okay.
Show Willie O'Ree real quick. Willie O'Ree was the first black player in hockey from Nova Scotia. The same area that black people discovered hockey, created hockey. Now, The Rock's father is from Nova Scotia. Wow. Was the first famous black wrestler, right. The Soul Patrol.
Yes.
From Nova Scotia.
Interesting things I found out was April Fool's Day, they don't talk about it, but what happened on April 1st, according to tradition in Spain, is that they told all the Moors, they said, we've kicked out the Jews and you're friends of the Jews, you can go. We've got ships waiting for you, you can go back to Morocco. You've lost the war in Spain, but we'll let you go. And so they said, we don't believe you. Well, they saw there were ships waiting for them. So they left. And while they left, in between going to their ships, they burned their houses and burned the ships. So they were homeless. This is on April 1st, 1492. This becomes April Fool's Day. Ha ha ha. You've been fooled. This is a denigration of the Moors, which is by the Catholic Church. And there was the siege of Granada where they built the town of Santa Fe. Interesting thing.
Now they done detached themselves so far from it, they don't even believe what they've used to learn in the first place.
Nope. And then the arguments that I get is, I'll tell them, I'll say, yo, this is an unabridged dictionary, right? They'll be like,
unabridged means what again?
Unabridged means
for the people,
as complete as can be.
Okay.
Abridged means incomplete.
I got you.
Right? To
now,
take
people
away
will question this.
People will question it.
People was going to question this. Mm-hmm. Well, it was written by people just like you. And
I was
me.
just getting ready to say that. No, they won't say it that way. They'll question time. They'll be like, when was that book written? And I'll say, well, this book particularly was written in 1828, but it's dealing with etymology as well. So it's going back and giving you points of references all the way back to when the word was first used.
Right.
And they'll say, yeah, you see that book is written in 1828. You got to get a newer update because we changed what? The meanings of words. So they just, okay, I'm cool. I know you changed the meanings of words.
But the words still are meaning what it means.
Watch this. Definitions are definite. That's why we define words in order to be definitive in the things that we say, so as to convey a clear and concise message.
Right.
However, you can make a word mean whatever you want.
Yeah, people make up words all the time.
Yeah, make them up.
And then they add them to the dictionary.
But they don't add them to unabridged dictionaries.
You ain't gonna find no slang in there.
You're not gonna find slang in here. You're not gonna find slang in there. You're gonna find true beginning words. Now watch this. We're gonna go to this word. Remember I said empire flag, right?
Yeah.
Watch this word. American. A noun, right? A native of America originally applied. Here, do me a favor. Hold this in your hand real quick.
All right.
Watch. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. But now...
Here.
I'll read it again.
Found. Okay.
A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, semicolon. But now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Do you see what they did? They took the status of the people that they considered to be Americans, and they just applied it to themselves. And then they told us, you guys are citizens. We are the Americans.
So they took their whole style.
They took it all with paper, through legislation, through changing meanings of words and just application.
Yo, I'm back with another one. But you know this is the Grand Canyon? And here go the pic of what it used to look like. So, civil rights leaders, why did you lie to us? Morris peoples, why did you lie to us? All you black aldermen, congressmen, church leaders, you kept quiet. All you Freemasons, you kept quiet. You knew who we was and you rolled with it. Washington, D.C., the United States Army, the CIA, the FBI, y'all knew who we was and y'all all put us in slavery. See, you told on yourself when you said it was 400 years of slavery. Now TikTok exposed everything. This was the great Sphinx of our ancestors. This is what it used to look like. So you lied to us, but God is revealing all. God is revealing all, Native. Yo, I'm back with another one. But this time we gonna tell a Dred Scott story the right way. And he never was enslaved. It goes a little something like this. Basically, the white man and Dred Scott is a Cherokee Indian. And Dred Scott can get land. So the white dude moved with him, literally. And as you can see, Dred Scott, an African-American man who sued for his freedom after his enslaver, moved with him from the slave states. So when they got over there to the free states, Dred Scott was like, nigga, I'm Indian, boy. You better go on somewhere. Woo, 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 woo. So the white man was like, no, you're just gonna be your slave. So Dred Scott he literally was not taxed. He was living good. The white man was the one that was hurting. And as quiet as it's kept, that's what the whole 14th Amendment is actually really about. Dred Scott and the Cherokee decisions, because we are Indians.